I don't want the people around me to find out that someone like you is my mother-in-law. So, please think of me as just another person, said my eldest son's wife, Olivia, as she tried to sever our ties. All right, I understand. But you may regret it, I replied. Regret? There's no way I would regret it, she said, laughing heartily. The next day, I was relaxing at home, when suddenly, Olivia came to visit. Oh, Zoe. What on earth have you done? My name is Zoe, a 60-year-old housewife. I've been married to my husband Robert for 30 years. We were childhood friends from the start and had always been together. After becoming working adults, we each started living alone, finally getting some distance, but we still frequently went out for drinks and continued to see each other one way or another. So, our relationship has lasted for around 55 or 56 years now. Even our marriage seemed like a natural progression. No matter who I dated or what kind of relationships I had, in the end, it was Robert who I felt the most comfortable with. Many of the people I had dated before were jealous of my childhood friend. It seemed that I had a great importance to him, too, as even though he dated other women, he couldn't envision getting married to someone else. If he got married and met me while I was still alone, he would feel guilty, and he disliked that idea. Due to various reasons like this, when we reached the milestone of 30 years old, we discussed getting married. If we married, we could meet each other without any reservations every day. It might sound strange, but thinking about it that way made us realize how much we truly loved each other. Both of our parents celebrated our marriage wholeheartedly. After getting married and starting to live together, we began discovering sides of each other we hadn't known before, which made things even more exciting. Despite spending a lot of time together, living under the same roof was a completely new experience, and that freshness was invigorating. Thanks to that, we were able to enjoy a typical newlywed life. From then on, we spent each day in great happiness. 2 years later, our eldest son Elliot was born, followed by our second son Nathan 2 years after that. Our family grew to 4, and our home became quite lively. I quit my job to focus on raising the children, while my husband worked diligently to support the household. Both Elliot and Nathan grew up to be wonderful children. Of course, being close in age meant they sometimes had arguments, but they generally got along well as siblings and were always seen happily playing together. My husband and I watched over our sons with warm smiles as they continued to grow. As they matured, they began challenging themselves by pursuing their interests and passions. They excelled in extracurricular activities and studies, leading fulfilling student lives. Given their strong academic abilities, both Elliot and Nathan advanced to prestigious high schools and later gained admission to competitive universities. Our sons, who we were proud of, had truly become accomplished individuals. Subsequently, our eldest son joined a major company, while our second son entered graduate school with aspirations of becoming a lawyer. Mom, Dad, I received my first paycheck today, so let's go out and have something delicious. Oh no. No. Use it for yourself. You've earned it. What are you talking about? I joined this company and worked hard precisely so I could show my gratitude to you. That's why we want you to let us show our appreciation. Well, if you insist, I guess I'll let you treat us. With a joyful expression, Elliot brought us, along with Nathan, to a high-end sushi restaurant. Thanks, Elliot. This is really delicious. Look forward to me taking care of you more and more as time goes on. I want to repay you. Hearing those words from our eldest son, both my husband and I were incredibly happy. It seemed that our sons had grown up to be truly wonderful individuals. Later on, Elliot seemed to be diligently working at his job. He would regularly come back home to visit, sharing stories like, "My boss entrusted me with a big project," or, "The CEO told me they have high expectations for me," with a delighted expression. These updates gave us peace of mind. As for Nathan, after graduating from graduate school, he devoted himself to studying diligently every day to prepare for the bar exam. As the bar exam is quite challenging, Nathan wasn't able to pass it during his time in law school. However, every year he felt a strong sense of progress. At the age of 26, he confidently mentioned that he seemed likely to pass it the following year, and I was amazed at his determination. Then, the next year arrived, and to our surprise, Nathan indeed passed the bar exam. It's truly impressive how he turned his bold words into action. We celebrated his achievement. "Now I'll catch up to you in terms of accomplishments, big brother," he jokingly said. "Oh, come on. Well then, by the time you become a lawyer, I'll be promoted to general manager," his older brother replied. Being close in age, our sons enjoyed this kind of banter between them. It seemed that they were pushing each other forward in a positive way. About a year and a half later, when Nathan became a lawyer, Elliot also became a general manager. My husband and I watched with astonishment as our sons continued to forge their own paths. Amidst all this, even more joyful news emerged. Our eldest son was getting married. "I'm planning to bring my fiancé over to your house next time." "Got it, looking forward to it." As I heard these words over the phone, both my husband and I felt a surge of excitement. Who exactly was the woman Elliot was bringing home? Amidst the mixture of nervousness and anticipation, our son finally arrived with his fiancée. "Nice to meet you, I'm Olivia." "Nice to meet you too. We're Elliot's parents." Olivia had distinct features and an air of sharpness about her. She held herself upright and had a strong gaze. "We've made tea, please help yourselves." "Thank you, I appreciate it." Her impeccable manners left a positive impression on both my husband and me. "How did you and Elliot meet?" "Well, we met through work. Our companies were engaged in business transactions, and we were the representatives involved." "I see, that's how it happened. What company do you work for, Olivia?" "I work at XYZ Company." "That's a company that's been getting quite a bit of attention recently, hasn't it?" Originally, Olivia was working at another major company, but she changed jobs and joined the current company. The name of that company sounded familiar to me. In fact, I had been investing in stocks and had done reasonably well. A few years ago, I had bought shares in that very company as I was interested in ventures. However, I didn't intend to mention this to her or to Elliot. It was unrelated to the main conversation. Olivia seems to be aiming for continuous career advancement. I'm inspired by that too, so I'm putting a lot of effort into my work. I see. If our eldest son and Olivia were able to build a happy and strong relationship, there was nothing more for me to say. Olivia, please take care of Elliot. Yes, we'll lead a happy married life. The atmosphere was pleasant as the marriage greetings progressed. However, after she asked about my educational background, I felt a slight shift in her attitude. Which university did Elliot's mother graduate from? I graduated from XYZ University. Huh? I haven't heard of that before. Well, you know, the entrance exam scores and all that aren't particularly high. I see. Elliot's father also graduated from the same XYZ University as me, right? I'm happy to meet a fellow alumnus. That university tends to emphasize connections with other alumni, you know. But it's true that meeting someone from the same university makes you happy. I mean, you'd want to sing the school song together, right? Yeah, definitely. Hey, Dad and Olivia, don't start singing and embarrass me here, okay? While the conversation was lively and everyone seemed to be having a good time, I noticed that Olivia never made direct eye contact with me afterward. Hey, you know, Olivia seemed like she didn't like me or something. After our sons had left, I discussed this with my husband. Huh? Why do you say that? They seem to be enjoying the conversation. I don't know, after we talked about our alma mater, her attitude towards me suddenly changed. I see. I didn't notice, but if you felt that way, Zoe, maybe she did change her attitude towards you. I'll pay attention next time and observe too. Thank you. With my husband on my side, I felt slightly calmer, but I couldn't shake off a bit of unease about what was to come. Would our relationship with Elliot be able to continue smoothly after he got married? After the introduction of both families was done, Elliot and Olivia got married. The wedding was lovely and genuinely enjoyable. A few months later, Elliot and his wife, Olivia, came to visit. It's been a while, Mom, Dad. Since the wedding. Yeah. Feel free to relax today. Since our son and his wife were visiting, I prepared home-cooked meals, and we all had a meal together along with some drinks. My husband and Olivia were getting into a conversation about their university days. For now, the atmosphere at the dinner was pleasant. Amidst this, Olivia suddenly said, "I want to see Elliot's graduation album." Elliot responded, "Sure, I'll go find it," and headed to his room. At that moment, my husband went to the bathroom, and suddenly, I found myself alone with Olivia. The air became awkward instantly. I tried to change the atmosphere and struck up a conversation with her. "How's married life treating you?" "It's normal, I guess." "Right." Her terse response left me unsure of how to continue. Then, she looked at me with a disdainful expression and said, "I don't really want to talk to a low-educated mother-in-law like you, you know." Huh? I looked it up, and your alma mater is a lower-ranked one, right? I wonder how someone like you with that background managed to marry my father-in-law. It's quite puzzling. Fortunately, both of your sons seem to have strongly inherited their father's genes. Maybe because your sons are exceptional, you mistakenly believe you're also outstanding. But you're just a disgrace to the family. Keep that in mind. I was left speechless. I never expected to be told such things. Just as my husband returned from the bathroom, Olivia stopped berating me. But for a while, my mind was in a state of shock. After that incident, Olivia continued to berate me every time we met. "Let me help, Zoe." "Oh, thank you. I might become an idiot if I eat the food you make." Only at the end did she say that quietly. It seemed like she believed she could say anything to someone she considered less educated. I was devastated but couldn't find the strength to confront her directly. Recently, however, she had become pregnant. Knowing this, I refrained from responding too harshly, not wanting to emotionally strain her during this time. Despite my restraint, she continued her verbal attacks. "Someone like you, who enjoys an easy life as a homemaker, wouldn't understand, but interrupting your career can be quite unsettling for a career woman, you know?" "Oh, well, you're right. Someone like me, who hasn't achieved anything in her career, probably wouldn't get it." In my mind, Olivia had turned into a devilish presence. As her pregnancy progressed, she started coming over to our house more frequently, and I found myself deeply troubled by her presence. "Zoe, could you make lunch? But please put some effort into it, all right? Food made by an idiot like you is always one-dimensional in taste." Olivia continued to berate me like this. It was like a routine. Endure, endure. I kept telling myself that until she gave birth. Meanwhile, Nathan recently got married, and his wife adored me. When Nathan and his wife visited, it was incredibly pleasant and soothing. I wanted to treat both couples equally if possible, but I couldn't help but feel a strong aversion to Elliot's wife due to her attitude. Finally, Olivia gave birth. Robert, would you like to hold him? Wow, he's so cute. She gave birth to a healthy baby boy. I was overjoyed by the birth of my grandson. As I tried to hold the baby, she said, Zoe, I have a little favor to ask. What is it? To be honest, there's something I'd like you to buy for me. It's something for women, so only you, Zoe, can help me with this. Holding her child protectively, Olivia told me that. She seemed determined to not let me hold the baby right now. All right, I understand. I reluctantly agreed and went to buy the item she asked for. When I returned from shopping, I thought I could finally hold my grandson, but he was sound asleep, so that opportunity slipped away. In the end, the first time I could hold my grandson was after Olivia was discharged from the hospital and came to visit us at our house. This treatment was beyond harsh, and my frustration had built up significantly. I had managed to endure it until she finished giving birth, but I was nearing my breaking point. One day, while she came to our house during the day, Olivia said to me, I won't have any further involvement with you, Zoe. Huh? What do you mean? I want to provide proper education for my son and instill in him proper values. With you around, someone with such a low level of education, it's quite an obstruction, you see. You're probably deluded, thinking you've raised your sons to be exceptional. But I never thought. In any case, I want to distance myself from you. As I raise my child to be top-notch, naturally, people of the same caliber will gather around us. I don't want others to realize that someone like you is my mother-in-law. So, please think of yourself as a stranger. Olivia said this, attempting to sever our ties. I couldn't stay silent any longer after being belittled like this. I decided to put into action what I had been preparing for. In truth, I wanted to find a way to get along with her without resorting to these measures, but it seemed impossible. I understand, but you know what? Even if you regret it later, I won't care. Regret? As if I'd ever regret it. Saying this, Olivia laughed heartily. All right then, if you're cutting ties, just remember to never come near me or Elliot again, okay? After she left, I immediately took action. I called Elliot and conveyed that I intended to sever any connection with his wife for good. He seemed flustered and came to our house after work. What's going on, Mom? With a surprised expression, my son asked me about the situation. In response, I played a recording for him, an audio compilation of all the derogatory words his wife had directed at me. Of course, today's conversation was included as well. I had been recording these interactions for some time, just for a situation like this. Upon hearing the audio, my son was left speechless. I can't believe Olivia would say things like this. And then he made a decision. I can't continue a married life or entrust child rearing to a wife who says these things. I just can't. With those words, my son left the house. The following day, I was relaxing at home when suddenly, Olivia came to visit. Oh, Zoe. What on earth did you do? What are you talking about? I asked, and Olivia raised her voice. After you said you were cutting ties with me, I got fired from my job, and on top of that, Elliot took our son and left. Well, that's unfortunate. Don't play around. What on earth did you do? Seeing her emotional state, I calmly explained to her. I originally owned shares in the company you worked for. Huh? I invested in various other companies as well. Even though I'm a housewife, I have a considerable income. And since you kept insulting me, and I couldn't stand it anymore, one day I became the largest shareholder in your company. The largest shareholder? Yes. And even after that, I still tried to find a way to get along with you, but it didn't work out. So, you're trying to sever ties with me in the worst possible way. That's why I used my authority as the largest shareholder to push you into resigning. No, it can't be. My hard-earned career. Maybe you're capable at your job, but it seems like you lack empathy for others. After an investigation, it turns out there were quite a few people who left the company due to harassment from you. I continued. Currently, the company's president is apologizing to those who were affected and assisting them in pursuing legal action against you for harassment.
What?
And about the terrible insults you directed at me, I recorded all of it. When I played those recordings for Elliot, he said he wanted a divorce. No, it can't be. Perhaps you insulted me without giving it much thought, but you should realize that your behavior hurt many people. That's all I have to say. Since you were the one who said you didn't want to have anything to do with me, why don't you leave now? Olivia left the house, pale-faced and unsteady. Later on, Elliot formally presented divorce papers, and the two of them divorced. Her parents came to us to apologize and took her away with them. Currently, she seems to be struggling with her mental health, living as a shut-in. On the other hand, Elliot returned to our home and is now a single father, working hard while I focus on child rearing. I want to spend peaceful days, alongside my husband, watching over our eldest grandson, and also building a strong relationship with Nathan's family.